The Book of Life. Why listen to the elderly? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to sit across from your 80-year-old self, sipping tea as the sun sets, and ask, what do you wish you had known sooner? Life, in many ways, is like a vast, intricate tapestry, each thread a moment, each color a lesson. But the most vibrant, the most resilient threads are woven by those who have lived the longest. Today, I invite you to open the Book of Life and discover the chapters written by those who have seen it all, the elderly. Their stories are not just memories. They are roadmaps, warning signs, and sometimes gentle reminders that the things we worry about today matter tomorrow. In this video, we'll journey through 15 of the most honest, profound, and rarely spoken life lessons, each illustrated with real stories, and whether you're 18 or 80, these lessons can transform the way you live, love, and grow. Let's begin with the first lesson. And as you listen, ask yourself, how might my life change if I truly understood this? Lesson 1. You can't please everyone, and that's okay. When I was 25, I met Mrs. James, a retired teacher in her late 80s. She had a gentle smile and a sharp wit. Over tea, she told me, for most of my life, I tried to be the perfect daughter, the perfect wife, the perfect friend. I said yes when I wanted to say no. I smiled when I wanted to cry. And you know what? It made me tired, and it never made everyone happy. Her words echoed a truth that many of us struggle with, the desire to be liked, to fit in, to avoid conflict. But as Mrs. Lang grew older, she realized that trying to please everyone was a recipe for losing herself. Imagine you are a tree in a garden. If you bend your branches to please every passerby, one wants shade, another wants fruit, another wants flowers, you'll eventually snap. The healthiest trees stand tall, offering what they can, but never at the cost of their own roots. A University of California study found that people who set healthy boundaries and say no when necessary are 30% more satisfied with their lives than those who constantly try to please others. Chronic people-pleasing is also linked to higher rates of anxiety and depression. Practice saying no to small requests and notice how it feels. Remember, respect is earned by those who respect themselves. Ask yourself, am I doing this out of love or out of fear? Have you ever sacrificed your happiness just to avoid disappointing someone? Share your story in the comments. Your honesty might give someone else the courage to set their own boundaries. Lesson 2. Kindness needs boundaries. Don't let goodness become a weakness. Mr. Noah, 81, was known in his neighborhood as the man who would help anyone. He fixed bikes for free, lent money, and was always the first to volunteer. But as he aged, he realized that some people took advantage of his kindness. I thought being good meant saying yes to everyone, he said, but I learned that real kindness is knowing when to help and when to step back. Think of kindness as a well. If you let everyone draw water without limit, the well will run dry. But if you protect it, refill it, and share it wisely, it will nourish generations. A 2016 study in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that people who balance kindness with self-care experience less burnout and more sustained happiness. Help others, but don't neglect your own needs. Learn to recognize when someone is taking advantage. Set limits. It's okay to say, I can't help right now. How do you balance kindness and self-protection? Let us know your strategies in the comments. Lesson 3. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. Mrs. Mia, 87, carried resentment for decades after a close friend betrayed her trust. I thought holding on to anger made me strong, she admitted, but it only made me bitter. When I finally forgave her, not for her sake, but for mine, I felt free for the first time in years. Holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. Forgiveness is pouring out the poison and choosing peace. Research from Johns Hopkins University shows that forgiveness reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and even improves heart health. People who practice forgiveness are less likely to suffer from depression and anxiety. Write a letter to someone you need to forgive even if you never send it. Remember, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing. It means choosing to let go. Start with forgiving yourself. Is there someone you need to forgive? How might your life change if you let go of that burden? Lesson 4. Self-discipline is the foundation of true freedom. Mrs. Ava, now 80, once believed that freedom meant doing whatever she wanted, whenever she pleased. In her 20s, she chased every whim, staying up late, skipping meals, spending impulsively. I thought I was living my best life, she laughs, but I was actually a prisoner of my own impulses. As the years passed, Mrs. Mai began to notice that the happiest, most fulfilled people she knew were those who lived with intention and self-discipline. Her neighbor, Mr. Dung, woke up at 5 a.m. every day to exercise, read, and plan his day. He seemed content, energetic, and always ready to help others. Inspired, Mrs. Mai decided to try a new approach. She set a bedtime, created a simple morning routine, and started budgeting her money. It wasn't easy at first, she admits, but soon I felt more in control, less anxious, and even more creative. I realized that discipline isn't a cage, it's the key that unlocks real freedom. Think of your life as a beautiful garden. Without structure and care, weeds will overrun it, and the flowers will struggle to bloom. Discipline is the gardener, nurturing what matters and removing what doesn't. A Harvard study tracking over 1,000 adults for 30 years found that those who practiced consistent self-discipline were 2.5 times more likely to achieve their long-term goals and reported higher life satisfaction. Start small. Choose one habit to build, like making your bed every morning or saving a small amount of money each week. Track your progress. Use a journal or an app to celebrate your wins. Remember, discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. What's one area of your life where you wish you had more discipline? Share your goal in the comments, and let's support each other's growth. Lesson 5. Letting go. Not everyone is meant to stay. Mr. Evelyn, 83, spent years mourning the loss of friendships and relationships that faded over time. I used to believe that every friend I made would be with me for life, he says. But as I grew older, I realized that some people are only meant to walk with you for a season. He recalls his best friend from university, with whom he shared dreams, laughter, and even heartbreaks. After graduation, their lives diverged: different cities, different careers, different priorities. 4 years, Mr. Bean tried to rekindle the closeness they once had, but it never felt the same. It hurt, but eventually, I learned to be grateful for the memories instead of clinging to what was lost. When I let go, I made space for new friendships and experiences. Imagine your life as a train journey. Some passengers board for just a few stops, others stay longer, but very few ride with you to the end of the line. Cherish each companion, but don't be afraid when it's time for them to disembark. A study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that people who accept the natural ebb and flow of relationships experience greater emotional well-being and are more open to forming new, meaningful connections. Reflect on relationships that may have run their course. It's okay to grieve, but also to move forward. Focus on quality over quantity. Nurture the relationships that bring you joy and growth. Practice gratitude for those who have been part of your journey, even if they're no longer present. Have you struggled to let go of someone in your life? How did you find peace? Share your story below. Your experience could help others heal. Lesson 6. True friendship shines in hard times. When Mrs. Luna was diagnosed with a serious illness at 75, she was surprised by who showed up at her hospital bedside. Some friends she considered close disappeared, while others, acquaintances she barely knew, brought meals, offered rides, and sat with her through the toughest nights. I learned that real friendship isn't about how often you see each other, but who stands by you when life gets hard, she reflects. It's not about popularity, but loyalty. Her experience echoes the words of Maya Angelou. In the flush of love's light, we dare be brave. And suddenly we see that love costs all we are and will ever be. Yet it is only love which sets us free. Friendship is like a lighthouse, its true value is revealed when the storms of life roll in, guiding you safely to shore. A 75-year Harvard study on adult development found that close, supportive friendships are the single strongest predictor of happiness and longevity, even more than wealth or fame. Invest time in your true friends, call, visit, and show up for them. Don't be afraid to let go of toxic relationships, even if it means having fewer friends. Remember, it's better to have a few loyal friends than a crowd of fair-weather companions. Who is the friend that has stood by you in your darkest moments? Tag them or share your appreciation in the comments. Let's celebrate real friendship. Lesson 7. Regret is not about mistakes, it's about missed chances. Mr. Charlotte, now 85, often reflects on his youth with a mixture of pride and regret. I made plenty of mistakes, he admits, but the things I regret most aren't the things I did wrong, they're the things I never dared to try. He remembers wanting to learn the guitar, to travel abroad, to confess his feelings to someone special. I always found reasons to waste money, time, fear. Now, I wish I'd just taken the leap. A recent conversation with his granddaughter inspired him to finally take guitar lessons at 84. It's never too late to chase a dream, he smiles. Think of life as a canvas. It's better to have a few bold, messy strokes than a blank, untouched page. Mistakes can be painted over, but empty spaces remain forever. A survey of 200 seniors found that 72% said their biggest regrets were missed opportunities, not failures. Psychologists call this the regret of inaction, which tends to linger longer and feel more painful than regrets about mistakes. Make a list of things you've always wanted to try, big or small. Take one small step toward a dream this week. Remember, it's never too late to start, and every effort counts. What's one thing you wish you'd done sooner? Is there a dream you're still holding on to? Share it in the comments, and let's encourage each other to take that first step. Lesson 8. Happiness is found in gratitude, not in possessions. Grandma Emma, now 88, used to believe that happiness was something you could buy. When I was young, I worked hard to afford a bigger house, nicer clothes, and the latest gadgets. I thought, once I have these things, I'll finally be happy. But every time I reached a goal, the happiness faded, and I found myself wanting more. It wasn't until her husband fell seriously ill that her perspective changed. Suddenly, all the things I owned felt meaningless. What mattered most was the time we spent together, the laughter of our grandchildren, the warmth of a simple meal shared as a family. Inspired by a friend, she began a daily gratitude journal. Every morning, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Some days, it's a cup of tea. Other days, it's a phone call from an old friend. Over time, I realized that true happiness comes from appreciating what you have, not chasing what you don't. Happiness is like sunlight. If you keep chasing it, it always seems just out of reach. But if you stop and open your windows, you'll find it shining right where you are. A 2003 study by Dr. Robert Emmons at the University of California found that people who kept a daily gratitude journal reported 25% higher life satisfaction and 30% better sleep than those who focused on complaints or material goals. Start a gratitude journal. Write down 3 things you're thankful for every day. Share your gratitude with others. Tell someone you appreciate them. Focus on experiences and relationships, not just material things. What are you grateful for today? Share one thing in the comments and help spread positivity. Lesson 9. Health is the greatest wealth. Invest early. Mr. Oliver, 92, was once a workaholic, skipping meals and losing sleep to chase career success. I thought I was invincible. I ignored the warnings: headaches, fatigue, even chest pain. When I finally collapsed at 60, I realized I had traded my health for money, and now I was spending my money to buy back my health. After a long recovery, Mr. High made health his top priority. He started walking every morning, eating more vegetables, and meditating to manage stress. I'm not as strong as I once was, but I feel more alive. I wish I'd started caring for my body sooner. Your body is like a car. If you never change the oil, ignore strange noises, and drive recklessly, it will break down long before its time. But with regular care, it can take you on many beautiful journeys. According to the World Health Organization, just 30 minutes of moderate exercise a day can reduce the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and depression by up to 40%. Preventative care and healthy habits are proven to extend both lifespan and quality of life. Move your body daily, walk, stretch, or dance. Prioritize sleep and balance nutrition. Schedule regular checkups, even if you feel healthy. What's one small change you can make for your health today? Share your commitment in the comments. Lesson 10. The power of forgiving yourself. Ms. Benjamin, 84, spent years haunted by guilt over past decisions, leaving a job she loved, arguments with her children, words she wished she could take back. I forgave others easily, but I was my own harshest critic. I carried my mistakes like heavy stones in my heart. A turning point came when her granddaughter, struggling with her own regrets, asked, "Grandma, how do you move on?" Mrs. Lan realized she had to model self-forgiveness. She began writing letters to her younger self, offering understanding and compassion. Forgiving myself didn't erase the past, but it allowed me to live more fully in the present. I could finally breathe again. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with rocks, each one a regret or mistake. Self-forgiveness is choosing to set the backpack down and walk forward, lighter and freer. Research from Stanford University shows that self-forgiveness is linked to lower levels of anxiety, depression, and chronic stress. People who practice self-compassion are more resilient and optimistic about the future. Write a letter to your younger self, offering forgiveness and understanding. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself as kindly as you would a friend. Remember, everyone makes mistakes. Growth comes from learning, not punishment. Is there something you need to forgive yourself for? Write it down, and if you feel comfortable, share your journey in the comments. Lesson 11. Embrace change, it's the only constant. Mr. Theodore, 86, lived through war, economic upheaval, and the loss of loved ones. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that life never stays the same. The sooner you accept change, the easier it becomes to adapt and thrive. He recalls resisting new technology, fearing it would make him obsolete. But when his grandchildren taught him to use a smartphone, he discovered a new world: video calls, online books, and even old friends found on social media. Change can be scary, but it can also bring unexpected joy. Don't let fear hold you back from growing. Life is like a river. If you try to stand still, the current will sweep you away. But if you learn to swim with the flow, you'll discover new shores. A Yale University study found that seniors who embrace change and seek new experiences are 20% more likely to report high life satisfaction and lower rates of depression. Try something new every month. Learn a skill, visit a new place, or meet new people. Reflect on past changes that led to positive outcomes. View change as an opportunity, not a threat. What's one change you've resisted but now appreciate? Share your story and inspire others to embrace the unknown. Lesson 12. True success is living authentically, not impressing others. Mrs. Lucas, 78, spent much of her early life striving to fit in. She dressed according to the latest trends, bought things she didn't need, and even chose a career path because it was considered prestigious, not because it made her happy. I thought success was about what others saw, she recalls. But the more I tried to impress people, the emptier I felt inside. It wasn't until she retired and began painting something she'd secretly loved since childhood that she felt truly alive. When I create, I'm not thinking about anyone else's approval. I'm just being myself. That's real success. Imagine living your life as an actor on a stage, always performing for an audience. True happiness comes when you step off the stage and live as your authentic self, even if no one is watching. A 2015 study, published in the Journal of Positive Psychology, found that people who live authentically, aligning their actions with their values and passions, report higher levels of happiness, lower stress, and stronger relationships. Reflect on what truly brings you joy, not just what looks good to others. Spend time alone to reconnect with your authentic self. Remember, the people who matter will love you for who you are, not who you pretend to be. What's one thing you love that you've been hiding from the world? Share it in the comments and inspire others to live authentically. Lesson 13. Patience is power. Good things take time. Mr. Henry, 89, was known for his calm demeanor. As a young man, he was impatient, always rushing, always wanting results now. I planted a mango tree in my backyard. He remembers, every week, I'd check for fruit. 4 years, nothing happened. I almost gave up. But one spring, the tree blossomed and soon I had more mangoes than I could eat. He realized that many of life's greatest rewards, relationships, careers, personal growth, require patience. If you rush, you might miss the magic. Life is like growing a garden. Seeds need time, water, and care before they bloom. You can't force a flower to open before it's ready. Research from the University of Chicago shows that people who practice patience are more likely to achieve their long-term goals and experience greater life satisfaction. Impatience, on the other hand, is linked to higher stress and poorer decision-making. Set long-term goals and break them into small, manageable steps. Celebrate progress, not just the end result. Practice mindfulness to stay present and calm during the waiting. What's something you're waiting for right now? How do you practice patience? Share your tips and encourage others. Lesson 14. Listen more than you speak. Wisdom comes from others. Mr. William, 86, was once quick to offer advice, often interrupting others with their own stories. I thought I was helping, but I realized I was missing out on learning from others, she admits. After joining a local book club, she made a conscious effort to listen more and speak less. The more I listened, the more I learned, not just facts, but empathy, understanding, and new perspectives. Listening made my world bigger. Imagine a cup already full of water. If you keep pouring, nothing new can enter. But if you empty your cup and listen, you can receive new wisdom. A 2012 Harvard study found that active listening improves relationships, reduces conflict, and increases both trust and understanding. Good listeners are also perceived as more intelligent and likable. Practice active listening. Make eye contact, don't interrupt, and ask questions. Resist the urge to give advice unless asked. Remember, everyone you meet knows something you don't. Who is someone you've learned from just by listening? Give them a shout out in the comments. Lesson 15. Give back. The secret to a meaningful life. Mr. Luck, 90, spent his retirement volunteering at a local orphanage. I thought I was giving my time and energy to help others, he says, but I received so much more in return: purpose, connection, and joy. He recalls a boy named Tuan, who struggled with reading. We worked together 4 months. The day he read his first book out loud, I felt prouder than if it were my own grandson. Giving back doesn't just change others' lives, it transforms your own. Think of life as a river. The more you give, the more it flows, bringing life and abundance wherever it goes. A 2017 study in the journal BMC Public Health found that people who volunteer regularly experience lower rates of depression, better physical health, and a stronger sense of purpose. Find a cause you care about and commit a few hours a month. Remember, giving isn't just about money, it's about time, attention, and kindness. Small acts of service can have a big impact. How do you give back to your community? Share your story and inspire others to make a difference. Lesson 16. It's never too late to start over. Mrs. Lean, 77, spent most of her life as a homemaker. When her husband passed away, she felt lost and uncertain about the future. I thought my story was over, she recalls, but then I discovered painting at a community art class. At first, I was embarrassed I was the oldest student by decades, but the joy I found in creating something new was indescribable. Within a year, Mrs. Lean held her first art exhibition. I realized that age is just a number. You can always begin again, no matter where you are in life. Life is like a book with many chapters. Just because one ends doesn't mean the story is finished. You can always write a new page. A 2019 study in the journal Aging and Society found that seniors who learn new skills or pursue new hobbies experience improved memory, greater life satisfaction, and even increased longevity. Don't let age or past failures stop you from trying something new. Start small, take a class, join a group, or explore a hobby you've always been curious about. Remember, every day is a fresh opportunity to reinvent yourself. What's something new you'd like to try, no matter your age? Share your dream in the comments and encourage others to take that first step. Lesson 17. You can't control everything. Focus on what you can change. Mr. Long, 86, spent years worrying about things beyond his control: the economy, politics, even the weather. I lost sleep over problems I could never solve, he admits. It wasn't until I started focusing on my own actions, how I treated others, how I cared for myself, that I found peace. Imagine trying to stop the tide with your hands. It's impossible, but you can build a boat and learn to ride the waves. Research from the University of Wisconsin shows that people who focus on controllable aspects of life report lower stress and higher resilience, even during difficult times. What's one thing you're letting go of today? And what's one thing you're choosing to focus on? Share your answers below. Lesson 18. The importance of saying I love you before it's too late. Mrs. Heen, 85, grew up in a family where emotions were rarely expressed. We worked hard, but we didn't say I love you, not to our parents, not to our children. I regret that. When my husband passed, I wished I'd told him more often how much he meant to me. Now, she makes a point to express her feelings to her children and grandchildren. It may feel awkward at first, but those words matter. Don't wait until it's too late. Love is like a flower, it needs to be watered with words and actions, or it withers in silence. A 2018 study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that openly expressing love and appreciation strengthens bonds, reduces conflict, and increases overall happiness in families. Say I love you to someone today. Don't assume they already know. Express appreciation through small gestures, notes, or hugs. Make it a habit to speak your heart regularly. Who do you need to say I love you to? Tag them or share your intention in the comments. Lesson 19. Laughter is medicine. Don't take life too seriously. Mr. Tam, 88, survived war, poverty, and illness. Through it all, I learned to laugh, he says. Even in the darkest times, a good joke or a funny story could lift my spirits and bring people together. He became the unofficial comedian of his neighborhood, always ready with a smile or a witty remark. Laughter doesn't erase pain, but it makes it easier to bear. Laughter is like sunshine after the rain. It doesn't change the storm, but it brightens the world. According to the Mayo Clinic, laughter reduces stress hormones, boosts the immune system, and even relieves pain. People who laugh often are more resilient and enjoy better mental health. Find humor in everyday moments. Watch a comedy, share a joke, or recall a funny memory. Surround yourself with people who make you smile. Don't be afraid to laugh at yourself. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. What's the funniest thing that's happened to you lately? Share your story and spread some joy. Lesson 20. All endings are also beginnings. Mrs. Dow, 90, lost her husband of 60 years and felt as if her world had ended. 4 months, I grieved, but slowly. I found new meaning: volunteering, making new friends, even traveling for the first time alone. She realized that every ending, no matter how painful, holds the seed of a new beginning. Life is a series of chapters. When one closes, another opens. Don't be afraid to turn the page. Think of life as a sunrise and sunset. Every sunset is followed by a new dawn, filled with possibilities. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth, the idea that people can find new meaning and strength after loss or hardship. Studies show that those who embrace change, their endings experience greater resilience and happiness. Allow yourself to grieve, but stay open to new experiences. Set small goals to help you move forward after an ending. Remember, every goodbye makes room for a new hello. What new beginning has come from an ending in your life? Share your journey and inspire others to embrace change. Deeper reflections and the final lessons. The power of reflection, looking back to move forward. As we journey through these lessons, it's important to pause and reflect. The elderly often say that wisdom is not just about what you learn, but how deeply you reflect on those lessons. Mrs. Lan, now 91, keeps a journal where she writes down what each year has taught her. Sometimes, I read old entries and realize how much I've grown. The same event can teach you something new each time you revisit it. Reflection is like polishing a mirror each time you do it. You see your true self a little more clearly. A study from the University of Texas found that people who regularly reflect on their experiences are more adaptable, less stressed, and are more likely to make positive life changes. Set aside time each week to reflect on your experiences and what you've learned. Write in a journal or share your thoughts with a trusted friend. Use reflection not just to dwell on the past, but to plan for a better future. What's one lesson you've learned this year? Write it down or share it in the comments. Lesson 21. You are never alone. Ask for help when you need it. Mr. Joan, 87, spent much of his life trying to be strong for his family. I thought asking for help was a sign of weakness. But when I finally reached out during a tough time, I discovered how many people cared about me. He found support in unexpected places: neighbors, old friends, even strangers. We all need help sometimes. It's not weakness, it's human. Imagine a bridge no single beam holds it up alone. It's the support of many that makes it strong. The American Psychological Association reports that people who seek and accept social support are more resilient in the face of adversity and recover more quickly from setbacks. Don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's emotional support, advice, or practical assistance. Offer help to others when you can. It builds a community of care. Remember, vulnerability is a strength, not a flaw. Who has helped you in a difficult time? Tag them or thank them in the comments. Lesson 22. Celebrate small victories. Mrs. Mary, 83, struggled with her health for years. After surgery, I couldn't even walk to the mailbox. But every step I took was a victory. I learned to celebrate the small things: a good meal, a sunny day, a phone call from my daughter. She started a victory jar, dropping in a note every time something good happened. On tough days, I read those notes and remember how far I've come. Life is a mountain climb. If you only look at the peak, you'll feel overwhelmed. But if you celebrate each step, the journey becomes joyful. A 2016 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that celebrating small wins boosts motivation, self-esteem, and long-term success. Keep a victory journal or jar for your achievements, no matter how small. Share your wins with friends or family, they'll cheer you on. Remember, progress is progress, even if it's slow. What's a small victory you've had this week? Share it and let's celebrate together. Lesson 23. The legacy of kindness. Mr. Cho, 92, often wonders what he'll leave behind. Money comes and goes, but kindness lasts. I see it in my grandchildren when they help a friend, stand up for someone, or show patience. That's my legacy. He recalls a time when a stranger helped him after a fall. I never knew his name, but I'll never forget his kindness. That's the kind of legacy I want to leave. Kindness is like planting a tree whose shade you may never sit under, but others will. A 2020 Harvard study found that acts of kindness create a ripple effect, inspiring others to pay it forward and strengthening communities. Do one act of kindness each day. no matter how small. Teach kindness to the next generation by example. Remember, the impact of kindness often outlives you. Who inspired you to be kind? Share their story and help spread their legacy. The journey continues. Life is a symphony. As we reach the end of this journey, remember, life is a symphony, not a solo. Each lesson, each story, each act of love and kindness adds to the music of your days. The elderly, with their decades of experience, remind us that the most important things are often invisible: the love we give, the courage we show, the wisdom we share. You are both the composer and the musician of your life. Every note matters. Even the pauses, the rests, the quiet moments, they give meaning to the melody. Which lesson touched you the most? What wisdom will you carry forward? Share your favorite lesson in the comments, and let's create a community of learning and support. If you found these stories helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's bring these lessons to more people and build a world where wisdom, kindness, and courage are celebrated every day. Remember, no matter your age, your story is still being written. Make it a masterpiece.